Hi, my name is Danita Lin. I am 31 years old and I am currently residing in Cambodia. My major is psychology and focus based on Christian counseling. I am also interested in pursuing pastoral care studies as well. My goal is and dream is to be a missionary counselor in Cambodia in order to provide mental health care to Cambodians in both rural and urban areas, as well as providing mental health care to missionaries who are serving out here abroad. I am interested in exploring the research topic of how the effects of trauma and mental health affects the spirits of an individual's life. My research question would be, how does the effects of genocide on a nation affect the emerging generations after it? Some journal articles that I stumbled upon in researching about this include the International Journal of Pedagogy, which states a study that was conducted in 7 countries in the past 7 decades to analyze the effects of trauma and genocide. They analyzed the new emerging generation and seeking how to analyze how they were affected mentally, socially, and physically by the effects of genocide that happened in the countries of Australia, Canada, Italy, Israel, Norway, Uganda, and United States. These were all countries that took part in the study. Another journal article that I looked into is the social psychiatry and psychiatric pedagogy, and they focus mainly on studying about a group of genocide survivors in Uganda, and the effects of genocide upon the emerging generation. In that study, they saw that there was much PTSD and major depressive episodes upon genocide survivors. The study was done 14 years after the genocide took place in 1994, and 1,000 individuals were assessed of their mental conditions such as PTSD and depression. It also identified that these civilians that underwent genocide became parents, and in their emotional and mental state, they raised children that were also affected because of the genocide through the trauma that through the trauma that affected their families and their parents. For this study, my preferred research method would be the qualitative research method. I prefer this because I want to perform a new hypothesis about the impacts of genocide on emerging second and third generation genocide survivors. It would be conducted in Cambodia, and I would focus mostly on doing a survey research, which is ideal for obtaining data about individuals' beliefs and patterns in thinking, and identifying what mental issues they might have. This is beneficial because it will provide information and data from emerging second and third generations from genocide survivors. There would be a set of questions targeting mental health to be ideal, and it would bring insight to how their upbringing was, and so we would be able to analyze and see how much they were affected by their parents undergoing the war. And also the questions can be regards to like their at-home life as well, like how they were raised and the absence or the presence of their parents in their lives, how that affected them as they grew up. The interview could be an interview or a survey. So it would depend on many platforms. If it could be interviewed, or the survey could be in written form. Some advantages and limitations to it would be, first of all, advantage. It can give It can be given to second and third emerging generation survivors, so to students, and it's low cost and it's easy to conduct. It can be very insightful to see how trauma of individuals' parents or grandparents affects them, and by the analysis of their upbringing and mental health, how they are carrying out their lives and also influence the new future generations as well. And so the whole study can assess how the country is doing in wise of developing from the war. Some limitations could be as for example, it can be biased as Cambodia. It would be the country of study, and it also can be time consuming as the surveys are conducted. And some limitations can be also because some people might opt out and not be willing to do the survey. In regards to reliability and validity, so as reliability is the consistency of results in different occasions. So the study would be able to obtain reliable information for the effects of genocide for Cambodia, but it can also be affected in reliability-wise due to different individuals' response, and if the study is done in other different countries as well, it can be different in regards to culture and ethics as well, based on the individual's response. Validity is the accuracy of the data in evaluating what is measured. The findings can be really giving as an insight to mental health in this emerging generation in Cambodia if the study is done truthfully and unbiased. However, it can be affected if individuals are not willing to be truthful and their experience are denied as well. Like they are in denial of their experience or their mental conditions, which is really something really going on here in Cambodia, as mental health is much of a stigma, and mental health is also discouraged as it's seen as something that's worthless. Many people see themselves as self-sufficient, and so it might be an obstacle as to provide sufficient data for these findings as well. How I would collect the data, I would go about collecting it by visiting high schools and universities, asking students if they would be willing to participate in the survey. Some difficulties that could occur is the refusal of students to open up to a stranger about their personal lives and mental health. It would be hard as well to get these students to participate truthfully, as in Cambodia there is a saving face culture. A lot of Cambodians do not talk bad about their parents, or they don't reflect that their parents did a not good job on them, and so it can be a little bit hard. But as emerging generations are more educated, I see that it can be a positive aspect of them being truthful, as they are being aware of mental health and the impacts of it in the emerging generation. It would be also hard to get honesty from the responses, but I think it goes a long way to just make sure the survey is not too personal as well, and not giving us direct questions, because Cambodians don't really like direct questions, but more of an inflow of question asking. Once the data is collected, I would compare and contrast the different answers provided by the students and search for similarities and differences as well between the surveys completed by the students. Survey research is most effective because it provides analysis without involving too much in the personal lives of much of the personal lives of students. It's just a survey to just ask them a question, ask them several questions, whether by interview or by paper, and they can submit it as anonymous, so that way the students can feel safe over the security of their personal matters. It is very cost effective to do a survey research, and I believe that it provides accessible data for a number of reasons, and collecting data from numerous participants. So it is in conclusion that it is beneficial to explore the research topic of the effects of trauma and how mental health affects a person's life. My research question was, how does the effects of genocide on a nation affect the emerging generations after it? And data can be conducted through using the qualitative methodology research approach by choosing to obtain analysis through conducting survey research. It would be challenging to obtain reliable and valid data if the participants are not truthful to the answers of their questions, or they manipulate their responses to save their face in response in a dishonor and shame culture. Overall, I would really like to go about doing this research in order to help the Cambodians in this generation arise to their full potential and not be able to be hindered by the effects of trauma from their parents or their grandparents, in order for this country to thrive. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you.